Meanwhile, Charlie Kirk's widow Erica has spoken, promising that the work her husband began would not only live on after his death, but grow in strength.
If you thought that my husband's mission was powerful before, you have no idea. You have no idea what you just have unleashed across this entire country and this world. You have no idea. You have no idea the fire that you have ignited within this wife. The cries of this widow will echo around the world like a battle cry.
And memorials around the world are also taking place, including hundreds of thousands marching in London, protesting for a return to traditional Western values. And joining us now for more on this is One Nation leader, Senator Pauline Hanson. Senator, really appreciate your time. First, very powerful words there from Erica Kirk saying this is only the beginning, but also just seeing how many people turned out in London saying enough is enough. Do you think that this is now a turning point?
I think it will be a big turning point. If you see the reports, a lot of people that are very much aligned with the Democratic Party in America have said no more. I'm not voting Democrat anymore and I'm turning away from it because that's not what I stand for. It's not what I want to see happen to my country. A lot of people have just taken a laid-back position with this. We've seen it changing. When I first got in politics years ago in the early 1990s, I could see that we've been stifled in our freedom of speech, the way our thought processes were with political correctness. And it's gone to the ridiculous now. And, you know, Charlie Kirk, although it's devastating to see his death, I don't think his death will be a waste throughout the whole world. And I think people will take up his cause, his fight, what he's stood for. And it's people like myself as members of Parliament here in Australia have to keep that fight going, because what's very important to us is our freedom of thought, our freedom of speech, and, you know, not to be controlled by those on the left that are full of hatred and want to control the people. And it's not about wanting to control people, it's about living in peace and harmony together. But when George Floyd was actually, you know, his murder, what did they do? They went out burning down, you know, the violence that was on the streets, burning down and destroying property. The hatred was there. You don't get that from the right. What are the right doing now with, Kirk? They're out there and, you know, praying and wanting peace. Total difference, total difference. So, you know, it's up to each individual. What sort of country do you want to live in? What do you see the future for your children? And this hatred has to stop, and it's got to stop in our universities. What I'll be saying to those ones out there, and I hear from the young students all the time, that there's no critical thinking in our classrooms anymore. And I've had young students, even in primary schools, come to me. They can't speak about me or politics because the teachers put us down. They don't have critical way of thinking. Their own ideology is pushed onto the students, especially in the universities. I'm going to say now, those students out there, if you feel that you're not given a fair go, if you feel that your teacher, lecturer, professor is going against what is, you know, freedom of speech, freedom of thought, critical thinking, then please let me know, because you know what? I will actually name and shame them on the floor of Parliament. It has to stop. We have to start somewhere.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and I agree with you. This is the start, I think, of a turning point right around the West towards more traditional values. Charlie Kirk's killer, as we mentioned earlier, was in a relationship with a trans person who was in the process of transitioning from male to female. We're still learning more about that, but I want to talk more broadly on the subject of trans issues, because you've pushed for many years for a national inquiry into the consequences of left-wing extremist gender ideology. We've never had that inquiry, and we're not immune from this ideology here and its consequences, are we?
No, we're not immune from it. Actually, 6 times I put it up on the floor of Parliament to get an inquiry into it. And even if it's behind the scenes, so people, you know, in cameras, so it's not open for the public, but allow the parents to actually have a discussion what has happened to their children. It's a shame that we have to shut down debate, because it really is destroying children's lives. young as 12 can have, operations, hormone treatment, and it's just so wrong what we're doing. We're putting them into psychological damage that's further down the track. We're destroying their lives. A lot of these kids will never, ever father kids, or they will never deliver a baby. And it's the sheer stupidity. You are born a female or you're born a male. And that's basically it. There are some people in between, which I accept and I acknowledge. But these kids have been brainwashed because they're going through puberty problems and issues like that. So let's go and carve them up. Let's cut off the bits and pieces. Let's fill them with these hormones or these drugs that is actually destroying them. How stupid are we to allow that to happen because they feel this way? Those kids have been brainwashed in the educational system. Some are probably saying this just to call out for attention. But we've destroyed the parental guidance or the authority that parents have over their children, and there's such a lost generation these days. I feel sorry for the young ones these days, but we have allowed parents to lose control over their children and a say in what I think is in the best interests of the child.
Which is absolutely frightening that a parent doesn't have the say anymore. I mean, what has happened to our country? Now, Senator, last week marked 29 years since you first entered Parliament, and today another milestone. It's the anniversary of your 2016 Senate maiden speech. I was having a listen to it today, and there was one bit that I thought was so relevant to 2025. Have a listen to this.
In my first speech in 1996, I said we were in danger of being swamped by Asians. This was not said out of disrespect for Asians, but was meant as a slap in the face to both the Liberal and Labor governments who opened the floodgates to immigration targeting cultures purely for the vote, as expressed by former Labor Minister Barry Jones, to such an extent that society was changing too rapidly, due to migrants coming in the front door but also the back door via New Zealand. Now we are in danger of being swamped by Muslims who bear a culture and ideology that is incompatible with our own.
So, Senator, here we are in 2025. Our major parties are so scared to have discussions about things that you were warning about almost 10 years ago. And the reality is that we have indeed brought some people into this country whose values are incompatible with a Western democracy, and we're in decline because of it.
We are in decline with it. And I'm not having to go at all Muslims out there. I'm talking about the fundamentalists, those ones that are pushing their own ideology. You know, those women who are suppressed, who actually have to wear the full burqa. And you've got communities and areas in Sydney and in Melbourne that you can't go into. If you dress a normal woman with their T-shirt on and shorts on, you're going to be rounded up and told to get the hell out of it because you're going to cause problems in a country like Australia. I've seen the decline in our country, from people who have come here that are not wanting to be Australians but bringing their own disasters from their countries, their own culture, their own ideology here, which is going to cause more problems and incohesion in our suburbs. I'm not frightened to say it, and I'll call it out. And I've been proven to be right. What I said back in 1996 and what I said 9 years ago. So Australians need to wake up to themselves. This has been manipulated by both the major political parties and who they've brought into the country. The Labor are the worst for it. And I advise people, go out and buy the book, Among the Barbarians. You can't buy it on the shelves, but One Nation is organising to have it through our bookshop on our website to get the book. Read it, understand. History is repeating itself. Be aware what is happening, and then you'll be prepared to vote for the only party that will represent and stand up for Australian values, and I'm telling you, it's One Nation.
Senator Pauline Hanson, always great to talk to you. Thanks for coming on the program tonight.